All right, Nate, you and I are doing something a little unique because we're talking about the Division 2 with an early preview review. All right, Nate, this one is a little different because we are talking about the Division 2, and the Division 2 is big. So this is kind of that review in progress kind of thing. We're going to take a look at it, where we are at the point this week. At the point right now, I am about 13, 14 hours in, sitting at almost level 10. I feel like I have done a lot of stuff. But barely scratched the surface, right? Yeah. How are you feeling about the Division 2 so far?
So we've got to play a lot of Anthem lately, right? So
absolutely,
really be able to compare it to this, and honestly, I can say Division 2 comes out really strong. Actually,
it does.
It's really tough by yourself. Which is something I'm still struggling with.
I don't think I want to play it by myself ever.
And that's part of the problem. I feel like just like building my character and all this stuff. It's really hard, you know, when I'm just by myself doing this, man.
Well, first of all, your character is brutal. That character customization option, honestly, wasn't weak. It just sucked. Like, I'm gonna be honest. When you get into a world that is all about building your character and having that suit your personality, it's just not there. I didn't find it was in the first division, and they didn't do much different in the second division, which is, it hurts because I love to I'll sit there for a good 45 minutes to an hour just customizing and fine-tuning my character. Where basically you jump in, you randomize till you get something that you kind of like, and then you kind of do minor tweaks and then move on. But really, it was so minor.
12 male faces, and I imagine the female faces are probably the same.
Yep, they were.
So, and you can adjust the cheekbones and stuff, but again, like I said, it's just minor and weak. Like, it doesn't feel much. And even the clothing options.
What clothing options?
Exactly. That is part of the problem.
Where?
That was Division 1's big thing when you first played the game. You're unlocking jackets and sweaters and helmets and whatever.
No.
And it's all aesthetics and like cosmetics, but you know, now I think it's hidden behind loot boxes.
I don't know. Right now, to be honest, it's all gear. Like, anything that drops is gear related. Every time I shoot something, most times I'm getting gear. There's always something to kind of either scrap or upgrade to. So I do appreciate that the fact that this looter shooter is full of loot.
Yes, and pretty much everything you get seems like it just slowly boosts, you know, your
a little bit.
Sorry, your armor and stuff. So
yeah,
at least there's that too, you know. I've gotten quite a bit of greens and blues now. I'm working on the blues, so I'm not that far into this game. I'm about 8 hours in.
Yeah, I'm starting to reach some of that purple stuff now. It's starting to drop. So, like, oh, nice. I'll take this and I'll take that. But I find the biggest loop that I'm starting to get into now is the settlements. Those settlements that are in the game are like, okay, there's this project. Check off this box, that box, this box, that box, and then we'll go to this box and that box, and then there's an upgrade to my settlement, which is the stuff I really like to kind of get in and mingle with, because I love to see my stuff just, it goes from a basic rundown settlement to
boxes
boom,
everywhere, everything's disorganized, to an actual working place.
Well, exactly. There's a water station, and there's a gaming room over here for the kids to hang out with, right? There's a barbecue over there, so all this stuff is going on, but you have to go out in the world, which is beautiful.
Yes.
But
I really like the color scheme and the setting that they went for this time compared to Division 1. It does not look the same at all, which I can appreciate, you know what I mean?
DC looks like an entire mess through there. There is just junk everywhere, all over the place. If you take a look, you see all the cars and the doors. All the doors are open just this much, so you can. We're just gonna close that one now.
You know they threw that in there. Absolutely. Completely intentional.
Yeah, no, that was cool. All right, Nate, so the Division 2's had a pretty good start, but definitely got some issues going on.
Yeah, so one of the first few things is texture pop-ins, man. It is bad. You'll be maybe 5 feet in front of something, and then it's boom, and it just 1080p. It's like, oh, okay. There's
480, 1080.
No, like 64.
Yeah, there's some pretty bad issues with texture pop-in, but one of the bigger concerns that I have are enemy pop-ins, because I ran into one area where there is no one, and then all of a sudden I was surrounded because they just literally popped in within 2 feet of me. It's not like they just came around a corner or they're in a hallway and they all came out of the hallway or even crawled out of the ground. They just, here I am, and then I was dead. I was so dead. I'm like, you gotta be kidding me. I didn't even stand a chance.
Because you're by yourself.
Of course, I was solo, and this is where I said, no more solo. I'm always either radioing for backup or I'm looking for you guys to hop on so I can play with, because this game is not designed to play by yourself, I feel.
Yeah, which is unfortunate just because I know it's like it's meant to play co-op, but again, when I play Anthem, I play a lot by myself, and I can hop in and just play it for an hour or so and whatever, and not get too frustrated from dying because I get revived by my teammates that are there. Whereas if I'm playing by myself, it's tiresome.
There is no revive. You die, and then if you're off in the middle of a mission, you will then get booted back to your settlement or the White House. You can't just revive yourself and kind of pick up where you left off. Sometimes in the middle of a mission, it does, and if you're in just kind of out doing free roam, it doesn't.
Free roam
is brutal. Then you're just back off to a settlement. I'm like, I'm all the way over there.
Yeah, man,
it's disappointing.
It is a little disappointing.
The Division 2 to me feels like a very well polished cover shooter.
Yes, it's very much a cover shooter.
It is, and that's kind of one of my issues.
Around and jumping around.
I'm not looking for that Anthem feel. That's not what the Division is about. But
Destiny, right?
All I feel is that I'm ducked in the cover, sit there, wave of enemies come at me, I pick off what I can. Hopefully with my teammates there, he can help out. And then I move into the next room, do that again, and then in the next room, do the same thing, and do the same thing, and do the same thing, and I keep going in the same pattern. And when it comes to the actual cutscenes, my character does this.
Yes. The classic...
Not say a flippin' word? Seriously. How am I supposed to have any emotional connection to my character when she doesn't say anything?
The silent protagonist thing?
I hate it. I hate it.
You know, like they did it in Half-Life, but guess what? That was 2002.
Yeah, they sell...
You can't do that anymore,
Massive says they want this to be your character. Well, you know what? When I'm playing Anthem and my javelin and my character speaks, that still feels like it's my character.
Yes. That's what I appreciate about that, because they really, with the story, you feel engaged because your guy is constantly reacting to the people you're talking to. It's not just them two people talking and giving you a story.
You just stand there on the sidelines.
Shake your head and, okay.
Like, you don't even moan or groan when getting shot at. If I could push over, I like...
Yeah, that
and pop back up. It would be like nothing there. I'm like, oh, I can't do this.
It's lazy. In my opinion, it's just lazy.
I just don't like the take and the spin they've taken with it of not having a single word of dialogue. You have a lot of dialogue going on amongst all the other characters, but then allow mine to interact somehow, some way, say something.
Because there's a couple of those conversations where I actually didn't feel like I was a part of it. I just walked in the room and these guys are talking, and then they...
Sorry, I'll just leave.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So
that's an issue. That is an issue now moving into these games. These games are getting bigger. I understand that. They take a lot of time to craft, to build, and you're going to run into some issues like we're experiencing here. But at the same time, when I have no emotional connection to my own personal character, that really affects my experience with the game.
It affects everything. It affects the lore, how interested you are in it, and how invested you want to be in it. Because just with Anthem, again, I'm going back to Anthem again, but
it's the two hot topics right now, right? It's Anthem and the Division.
And just what they've done with the lore, it's good in some ways, but bad in some ways. But again, just like I said earlier, the characters, just being able to talk to them, and I don't know, it just feels really good.
The overall story of the Division 2 seems honestly pretty minor. It doesn't seem like there's a huge story. It's basically DC's been hit, and you have these other factions that are taking over DC, and it's just your job to go out and clear them out. And that's kind of it. And then you're set out on fetch quests, so you can then rebuild the White House and the settlements.
And that's, you know, when I played the Division 1, they had you're actually in a different area when you start. It's like a tutorial area almost.
Sure.
You get to like level 4 or so, and then you move on to the big area. So you don't get your base of operations right away.
Yeah.
But in this, it
was instant.
It was instant, and it didn't feel like, I don't know what the word I'm looking for.
Like the climax to the achievable
I got the
goal.
White House. Like, we got the White House. That didn't
Just
feel
rolled in.
It's just like, oh, I killed 20 guys, and
Hey, it's mine.
now we run the White House.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, Nate, so there's a couple bugs going on right now with the abilities within the Division 2, like, say, putting my turret down and it disappearing after 2 seconds.
Yeah, or my drone doing the same thing.
Yeah, exactly. Ubisoft is on it, though. They've already reached out and said that they are working. This is their main priority right now, is to fix these issues that we're experiencing, because nobody wants to put out my drone, start shooting, and then it just vanish.
Yeah, that's obviously a big issue, but Ubisoft, they're covering it, and I think it's going to be really fast too, because they addressed it right away when people started tweeting.
That's fantastic, right? That's transparency right there from Ubisoft, saying, you know what, we are listening, we know exactly what's going on, and we're on it. And they'll get it fixed. I want to talk about, now that I am 14 hours in almost, it's taken me to this point to where I'm actually starting to enjoy the game.
See that?
Which is
a problem.
It is a problem. For me, it's a major problem, because after 5 hours, I almost gave up. And I was really looking forward to the Division because of it being such a vast, huge, open world experience where I can go out with my friends, build a clan, do all this cool stuff. Just, it's taken me 14 hours to finally get to a point where I'm enjoying this loop now of, okay, I gotta go upgrade my settlement, so I gotta go check off this box, that box, and all this. So I'm starting to see all this stuff now kind of take a spin, where at the beginning, when it was just me out there in the world, I wasn't feeling this game at all. It has a very slow start for me.
Yeah, I'm right there with you, man. Since I'm out 8 hours, again, that's kind of where I'm starting to pick it up, because I've tried conflict mode, which is a new game type.
Yep.
And it's really fun, actually. They have an entire new, I don't want to say skill tree, but leveling up tree.
Yeah.
So if you just play that and you level it up, they give you rewards. So
that's kind of cool too,
it's
right?
It's just a nice, this is one thing Anthem's missing. Again, they don't have all the game modes, whereas Division, we have the Dark Zone, we have open areas, we have side missions, we have, the incursion coming in. They haven't announced it yet, but I presume a month at most.
Yeah, Ubisoft has so much in the Division 2 to keep you going. There is so many things that I'm off searching for this. The issue with a game like this is you start in that direction and then you veer off that way and then you veer off this way. And then there is a radio station you gotta kind of take over here, and then there's gonna be an execution over there, so you run over to help them, and then somebody else radios in for backup, right? And it's just, because I was playing today, I'm like, all right, so I set myself up on a path today. I'm gonna start here, and then I'm gonna go to this mission, and then I'm gonna end at that mission. I called in for radio backup, so we started there, and then I went that way, and then I went this way, and then I went that way, and then I made it there, and then we went that way. And then, so I'm starting to now feel that, this is the game I've been looking for after 14 hours.
So again, getting back to it not having a strong start, I really think that's because your character just doesn't speak, man.
Yeah, I think you're onto something there, right? When you have that engagement in both parties, it helps you kind of gravitate in towards the story more, where this kind of pushes me, I feel like I'm on the sideline.
Yeah, it just doesn't work, man.
No, that's fair. Nate, if you're gonna wrap up this review in progress of the Division 2, because right now I'm sitting at just around the level 10 in 14 hours.
Yep.
You're in around the 8 to 9 hour mark. We are going to come back to this again once we hit the level 30, because that's a whole new game then.
Absolutely. We haven't even touched on the Division, really speaking.
Yeah, it kind of feels like this is almost like the halfway point until you hit level 30. So we'll be back into this review when we hit that level. We got a lot more grinding to do. But until then, what are you scoring the Division 2 review in progress?
So it's actually going to get a 7.5. Has a weak start. Characters are a little, my characters sucks.
Yeah.
So that's where that 7.5 is, but once we get to the late game.
I'm right there with you. Without having that interaction and my character saying nothing, the character customization I didn't find very well done at all. Like, I didn't have much to do there. Texture pop in, the enemy just drops out of nowhere. Yeah, I'm kind of sitting and I'm there with the 7.5 as well.
The Division 2 is a strong sequel and a great addition to the loot shooter genre. Suffering only from the difficulty of playing solo and some texture and NPC pop-ins, the rest of the game is grade A quality. Lots of loot to earn, missions, and objectives to complete. We look forward to advancing to the end game.